Hello everyone, welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is a series where I get to talk a little bit about and touch base upon various mythological beasts, beings, and the like pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying I am not a linguist, so if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize in advance. And today I wanted to talk about a particular avian-like species, and this one reminds me of one I've actually mentioned before. For anybody who's watched any of my series or maybe familiar with various folklore, myths, and legends, there is the thunderbird that comes from the legends and lore of the various people of the indigenous tribes in North America. Now, today I'm actually going to jump over to Africa and talk about the Impundulu. And the Impundulu, that name actually translates to lightning bird. Now, of course, as I've repeated myself many times, there are various different kind of regional differences, and so it also has some other alternative names, including the Thekwani, Izulu, and the Inyoni Zezulu. And essentially I'm going to refer it predominantly by the Impundulu, since that's, I think, the most common reference to its name, the lightning bird. And this is a creature from the folklore of the Zulu people, again, in Africa. Essentially, most people, and the most accepted description of this bird is a black and white kind of avian the size of a person, and it has the capability of summoning thunder and lightning with its wings and its talons. And that's kind of where the similarities between the thunderbird of the Americas kind of ends, because the Impundulu has some other little more fearsome and terrifying traits, including the fact that it is a sort of vampiric-like creature associated with witchcraft. And in these stories, the Impundulu is a servant of either a witch or a witch doctor who usually utilizes this creature to attack the enemies of, again, the witch or the witch doctor. The animal itself, the Impundulu, supposedly has this insatiable appetite for blood and is always hungering for such. Now, in certain circumstances, it is believed that this creature also has the capability to transform into a beautiful young man, and in this form, it does so in order to seduce women. Now, beyond that, again, there are various tribes who believe in a variation of this creature in Africa. And so this lightning bird has alternative descriptions and capabilities as well. One particular, some different tribes believe that the Impundulu actually takes the form of a real bird called the hammerkep. And so they do believe that that real bird is actually the Impundulu and capable of, again, conjuring said lightning and thunder. Now, others think that this particular creature, in their version of it, can only manifest itself inside the lightning itself, and with the exception that women, or at least certain women, the Impundulu will come and reveal an avian form, where it will either attack the women in not so wonderful cases, but be caution of birds, because some of these alternative birds have ranged anything from a black rooster all the way to something that looks a little bit more like a peacock. There are even certain tribes that say that you can identify it because it has a fiery tail, bill, and legs. So almost phoenix-like properties if you think of any kind of the firebirds instead. Now, one of the other interesting traits of this creature is the fat of this creature is supposed to fuel fuel fire, and that fat is actually used to spark the quote-unquote flames that is itself the lightning strikes. And other people consider that the fat of the bird is actually extremely valuable because it can be used in a variety of medicines. And so there is a belief that, and the lore, that if people can acquire said fat, they can again utilize it in all these kind of healing potions and properties. So because of that, there is also lore on how to capture and obtain the fat of this bird, one of which is if you try to capture the bird, but you have to do so in the moment of the lightning strike, then you can obtain some of this fat. Other times they say that the bird, when it flings down lightning, kind of buries itself underground, and if you find that divot where the lightning struck, you can actually dig up that bird to help obtain some of this fat. Now, there is further lore about the lightning divots and the places where lightning strike, because other people think that it actually lays an egg or buries an egg in those places. So there is pros and cons depending on who you ask, if it is a bane or a boon, a good omen or a bad omen to mess with the hidden egg. I'm a person that would say I would avoid any of that, but that is me reading into some of this lore. Now, one of the last things I kind of do want to touch about this is that the Impundulu is supposedly immortal in the sense that it can outlive its master and is supposedly passed down throughout the witch's family bloodlines. So when one passes away, the next one inherits essentially this familiar, this bird they use for their own purposes. And it's the Impundulu's only weaknesses are one. It is essentially impervious to stab wounds and gunshots, poisoning, or drowning. The only thing it can do to truly destroy this creature is setting it on fire, which is kind of interesting because some of the lore deals with the bird actually partly on fire or utilizing fire, but fire is its only weakness. So something to ponder. Now, if you have any questions about this or anything else, post them in the comments below or reach out to me on any of my social media. And until next time, everyone, Skål.